Today we're going to be talking about bulking. I just come off a year and a half of bulking. It was pretty successful. Put on 20 kgs of muscle and fat, obviously. So I'm going to give you a few tips on how I did it, and maybe it should help you. About 90% of you, it would help you out. So let's get into it. The biggest thing I think which helped was the consistency of food. I ate the same meals every single day. The meat and the rice, chicken and the rice, steak and the potatoes, and the salmon like once a week. Okay, so I was following the vertical diet by Stan. He is a genius. He gave us this free diet and it was amazing. Anyway, so I followed that and it worked a lot. So it was basically white rice and red meat for the majority of the meals, steak once a day, and then one sweet potato, one carrot, just like the little nutrients that you always need. And so that was the diet, and I had that every single day. And all I did, I kept the proteins the same, and I just increased the carbohydrates. So I had more white rice, or I had more sweet potatoes, and then here and there I would have more meat. So I think that's the first key to a successful bulk. The second thing is you want to be, you don't want to go crazy. The same thing with the consistent meals. You want to have like slow and steady progress with the calories, being in the surplus. You don't want to have a 10,000 calorie day and then you just having a crap week of low calories. You want to keep it as consistent as possible so you can slowly gain. That's what I did. So that's what you want to do. Okay, so now we talked about what I did. So I followed that vertical diet for the whole year. I had the same meals all year round, and I just consistently stacked on weight on top of my frame. Now for you, you need to find out what meals you enjoy, what foods you enjoy. It might not be what I like a white rice and red meat, but for me, as Stan was explaining, that's like the best way for your digestion. Everything just feels good, you don't feel bloated and all that other stuff. So that's what kind of helps, because when you're bulking, you have to eat such a surplus of food to gain weight that a lot of the time you're constantly bloated, you're constantly farting and all this stuff. So the way he explained it was that the way these foods are set up is low gas. So that's why it's so easy to eat a large quantity of and just keep on eating it. So that's what I found worked. I just was eating it and I wasn't gassy, I wasn't bloated all the time. I just felt good and I felt strong. So that's what worked for me. You can try that and go to Stan's channel and Stan's page, will probably link it somewhere. He gives a better explanation to that. But anyway, we'll move on from there. Depends on how you want to bulk. For the majority of people, they want to bulk so they can get bigger muscles and whatnot. So with your training, you have to take it seriously. Otherwise, it's just a waste of surplus. If you're eating to gain weight and you're not stimulating the muscle, you're just not going to grow. You're just going to put on all that fat, because being in that surplus, it's telling your body that yes, we need to gain more weight. And if you don't stimulate those muscles to grow, like your legs and your arms and your chest and all this stuff, then your body just puts that excess calories and just stores it as fat. It's not going to build any muscle for you. So the way you train has to be consistent as well. It has to be hard. It has to be, because you're in a surplus, you're going to have a lot more energy. So you're going to have a lot more energy to train heavier and longer and all that stuff. So you want to progress with your workouts. You want to do more than you were doing last week and the day before to stimulate your muscles. And that's when that weight will come on, and you'll see, like with my measurements, it was all in my arms and my legs. Everything grew evenly. Obviously my waist grew a lot because it's just fat, but everything came up. My chest, my arms, my forearms, my legs, my calves, everything came up because I was stimulating those muscles to grow. And you gotta do the same thing, otherwise you're just gonna get a big belly, big ass for the men, and that's it. You're not gonna get bigger.
Sucker! Oh! What the hell are you doing on the ground?
That hurts.
Well, it's supposed to hurt. That pain's what's gonna save your life. Your cells remember where it hurts, and that's where they get strong. It's called pain and gain, Rusty. Don't be a little bitch.
So the next thing when we're bulking is sleep. We want to talk about the sleep because it's very important. This is where you recover, this is where you grow. So what worked for me was sleeping between the hours of 10 to 8, okay, every single night, very consistent. This allowed me to just be, you have to be super consistent with cutting and bulking. So there's studies showing that when you sleep beyond these hours, or when you don't get enough sleep, when you're lacking sleep, your hormones can change and you can actually put on more fat, and your body's just not working how it's supposed to because it's not getting the efficient amount of rest. And this is what you don't want to do, because you want to be able to build as much muscle as possible, and you want to be able to recover for the workouts to train harder. Because of all these calories you're taking, you've got to take advantage of it. So sleep is a big key in this bulk. Make sure you're sleeping between the hours, otherwise you might as well just forget about it, because you'll notice you put on a lot more fat and your training is going to suck. Now, the next thing I want to get into is the length of the bulk. In our society today, we always have to be lean, we always have to be this and that, but it's just not possible when you're doing this naturally and you're bulking. You want to bulk for a long period of time. A year was good for me, but I think on my next bulk I'm going to do about 2 years, maybe 3 years, and just go at it and be in that surplus and be in that big size and just build tons of muscle and tons of strength, then do a cut. I'm cutting currently now after a year and a half, and we're going to see how that goes, and then that's what will determine the next bulk. But definitely don't bulk for a month or 2 months unless you've got like some movie role or you have to do a certain specific thing, but you just won't put the muscle on inside in time, and it will just be fat. You know, you can't get that big that quickly, you can't get that skinny that quickly. It's just not sustainable. So take your time, make sure the program is as long as possible. You never want to do a quick program, a quick bulking season. You want to bulk for a long time. You want to stay in that weight, and that's a big thing too. So be patient. Don't be afraid of getting fluffy and losing your abs and stuff like that. This is important. Okay, it's still there. It's just a layer of fat over it, and you're in a surplus. This is when you can make all your gains. Okay, you can't make any gains in a deficit. When you're staying lean all the time, you can't be as strong as you possibly can when you're super lean. Unless you've had like 20 years of training and that's just your weight. You know, like you're like 100 kg, but stay in that surplus and be happy and just trust the process. In conclusion, we have to be in a caloric surplus. We have to be in a caloric surplus for a long time, so don't do a little 1 month, 2 month bulk. Bulk for years. Stay there, enjoy it. Get real big and the clothes don't fit and everything's uncomfortable, because that's where you can make the most gains. Sleep, very important, and stimulate the muscles. The muscles have to be stimulated to grow. You have to push yourself past the boundary to change. Otherwise the body's going to stay the same, because there's no threat to the body, okay? So you have to push past your boundaries if you want to grow. If you just want to get fat, it's fine. Just be in a surplus for a long period of time, you're going to get fat, it's great. If you want to grow actual muscles, then you've got to stimulate them to grow, okay? And there's multiple ways of doing that. Don't worry about your abs. Don't worry about rippling muscles. Just grow. This is bulking.
I struggle, Vic. I wake up each day and I try to live a life dedicated to self-improvement, to finding a personal path that allows me to employ my special gifts.